This movie was
Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide.
Dark side.
Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide.
Hey guys, welcome back to Jersey Boy Reviews and the Villains We Trust. My name is Julian, I am your host. So today we're gonna review, this is gonna be spoiler heavy, but today we're gonna review Assassin's Creed. And yeah, I am a rabid fan of the franchise, so I was really looking forward to this movie, and it let me down. This movie is garbage. Do not go see this movie. If you are a fan like me of the series, do not go see this movie. This movie is trash. Let's get right into the freaking details. I don't even feel like talking about it, but I want to tell you guys, I want to warn you guys, don't go see this movie because it's bad. Through a revolutionary technology that unlocks his genetic memories, Callum Lynch, played by Michael Fassbender, experiences the adventures of his ancestor Aguilar in 15th century Spain. Callum discovers he is descended from a mysterious secret society called the Assassins, and amasses incredible knowledge and skills to take on the oppressive and powerful Templar organization in present day. Man, this movie was such a letdown because I was so ready for it. I love the game series. But let's just get right into it and start dissecting this movie. So the musical score for this was hit and miss. In some of the scenes, it really mixed well with the film, even mixed beautifully at times. And the musical score definitely did its job by pulling you into the movie. It made it way more immersive. So it definitely made you pay more attention to the movie. And then anytime that Callum would suit up and go into the Animus, the musical score would take a drastic and neck-snapping turn where I thought I was down the shore in a nightclub. You're sitting there, you're trying to make sense of what's going on in the film. All theaters nowadays are pretty much all surround sound, so now you have this club music, this bombastic hot mess playing in your ear, so an explosion would go off over here. Like, you have the sound effects, you know, when the two swords clash, they make this sound, they make this ching. Sound effects were diminished because you have this bombastic club music going on in the background, and you really couldn't help but feel ripped out of the movie because, you know, Club Assassin's Creed is going on in the background. Another thing is that this movie is dark, and not in tone or in script. It's just visually dark. This movie makes DC look like Marvel. So in some scenes, especially in the beginning, it was really hard to see what was going on in the scene because it's just so dark. They really messed up. So in some scenes, it was just really hard to see what was going on. And God, I really had some high hopes for this movie. I thought it was going to be the one. I thought it was going to be the one to launch the video game franchise type of movies. And it just failed miserably. Like any good action movie, it did have some redemption, and these redeemable parts were in its action scenes, but the movie just couldn't help but shoot itself in the foot. The action is very fast paced because obviously these are highly trained death machines who can move a bit faster than your average person. But my God, anytime that Aguilar would be on screen and he had to either fight somebody or he had to kill somebody, they would have these jump cuts going back to Callum. So anytime Callum would go punch some dude, so did Aguilar. And when Aguilar went to go kill somebody with a sword, so did Callum. So it would be this back and forth and back and forth and forth and back and forth and back and forth between them, that at times I was like, whoa, 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 slow it down. I was there like, whoa, whoa, in the movie theater. But yeah, I was like there, just like, slow down. Who killed who? Who was that? Was that Callum or was that Aguilar? I didn't know what was going on at sometimes. Only action scenes that I really did like were the ones with Maria, the female assassin, and that's pretty much because the scenes were complete and there was nobody to jump cut to. So yeah, her action scenes just looked amazing. They were gorgeous. You had this back and forth between Callum and Aguilar, and it's like you didn't know what was going on in the movie. Let's do a quick little recap. This movie is visually dark. It isn't dark like the Dark Knight was, who did the tones like beautifully. This movie was just hard to see. There's a lot of hard edits that skip tremendously. You usually want a skip to be like a second or a second and a half or so, but these skip like full seconds. Let's say a good 6 seconds. So there was one scene where they were gonna kill Aguilar's mentor. They had set him on fire, and like a good 7 seconds were skipped, and he was already dead. And it's like you don't hear him screaming. It's like, wait, what happened? How is he dead already? Like, it was instantly like that. You'll also see a lot of hard edits that don't flow together in that horse scene. So if you guys definitely go see the movie, you'll see the horse scene and you'll see what I'm talking about. So that horse scene has these jump cuts and these hard editing shifts that just don't flow at all. There's also a chase scene. So Aguilar and Maria are being chased by Templars throughout the city, and you have this amateurish handling of the camera. We get this little shaky cam thing going on, and it's like, what is going on in this movie? This movie has a budget of $125 million, and whoever was shooting that scene couldn't find a $25 tripod. Like, dude, what is this? What is this in that type of movie? It's coming from Warner Brothers. What are you doing? So yeah, we're recapping. The musical score was a atrocious mixture of awesome music with really shitty music. Like I said before, the action is really fast paced, which is expected of an action movie, but those jump cuts really killed those momentous action scenes for me. And then there were also subtitles in the film, which also draws your attention away from the screen as well. So it was like, ugh. We're gonna get back to the subtitles in a minute. So this film, even though I was so stoked for it, it's just a hot mess of sensory overload. Yeah, whoever came up with the script for this film has never really played an Assassin's Creed game, and I guarantee you that. And what I mean by that is that when us as the player, we pick up an Assassin's Creed game, we go into the game wanting to do assassin shit. We want to go fucking kill some people, do some hidden moves, do leaps of faith. Nobody plays an Assassin's Creed game to play as Desmond Miles. Like, does anybody go into these games wanting to play as Desmond? And don't get me wrong, Desmond Miles is cool, but in an Assassin's Creed game, I want there to be 80% assassin, 20% Desmond. So yeah, when you pick up a game like this, you want to play as Altair, you want to play as Ezio or Connor or Shay, any one of those guys. And the point that I'm getting to is basically that Aguilar, the assassin, is barely in this movie. Now I'm going to overestimate it. I'm going to say that Aguilar has a good 10 lines in the whole movie. And mind you, I'm overestimating. And if and when the movie did have Aguilar in it, like I said before, it takes place in Spain. It makes sense that everyone in the film from Aguilar's scenes all spoke Spanish. But it kind of caught me off guard because when we play Assassin's Creed, for us in America, usually the character speaks in English. So we know that it's, let's say, Ezio. Ezio is based in Italy. We know he's Italian, so we got that right. We got that. Ezio is Italian, sure. But for us as an audience, he's going to be speaking English. So it was kind of jarring to hear him. Altair speaks in Arabic, but us as the player, we know he's going to be speaking Arabic. But for us as the user, he's going to be speaking in English because it makes it a whole immersive experience, and it doesn't take your screen away from, it doesn't take your eyes away from the screen when he's speaking because there's subtitles. But I understand why they did it. They try to make Aguilar's scenes feel more authentic to the timepiece, but for me it just didn't work. When your male lead natively doesn't speak Spanish, me as a Spanish speaking person, I can hear the mispronunciation and the accents and things like that. So it kind of threw me off the film a little bit. It's just one little tidbit. It isn't a lot to like throw me out of the film. Trust me, there were plenty. But this is just a little minute detail that I just didn't like. I wanted Aguilar to speak in English. I know he's set in Spain. Obviously, his name is Aguilar. Sure, whatever. He's Spaniard. But let's have him speak English. What I got from this horribly adapted film is that it definitely tries its best you not to really feel connected to this Assassin's Creed world at all. I'm usually very invested into the film that I watch. I'm usually very focused because I don't like to miss anything, and because so we can have real conversations about the film. At times, this movie is very boring. And I caught myself glancing away from the screen voluntarily, just to look at my phone or see what was going on around me, see how other people were reacting to the film. I don't know, I would be very remiss if I didn't say this, but you know, when I did happen to glance away from the screen, I saw a group of people leave. Now, I don't know if they had an emergency or whatever happened, or if they were or maybe they were just as angry as I was and they just had way more sense than me to stick around and they pulled out of the movie. One thing that this movie does do very well is that it copies, well, I don't want to say copy, but let's just say it gets its inspiration from a few movies here and there. It pulls some inspiration in one scene from this little movie. You guys might have heard of it. It's called Star Wars. You guys want to know what it pulled from it? I'll tell you. They have Force Ghosts in this movie. I know we have some Force Ghosts here and there in the games, but The movie executed those scenes with the Force Ghost in them so terribly that it just made it suck so much more, and you could tell that, like, oh, this is Star Wars, what are you doing? Animus actually borrows some technology from the Matrix movies via the neckjacks. The saddest thing about this film is that it has such an amazing cast. In this movie, there is perfect acting via Jeremy Irons and via Michael Fassbender. Then we have overacting by way of Michael Kenneth Williams, which I didn't understand because he played Chalky White. He also played Omar Little from The Wire. What is thy plan with thou lives, O fair maiden? Like, it's like that. It's like that. You'll see it in the movie. You will see it. You have the beautiful Marion Cotillard who plays Sophia. I mean, her performance was just flat. She plays a scientist in this film. She is the director of the Animus Project, and she's also a Templar Knight. Turns out that she is also a descendant of an assassin. Facepalm. It makes sense, like, just for the plots, Wouldn't it make sense? You are scouring the earth for your project, and you find these people that have these genetic makeup that fits your mold. Wouldn't you, just out of curiosity, because, you know, scientists is naturally curious, but just out of curiosity or just to rule yourself out, wouldn't you logically test yourself out for this assassin's genetic makeup that you are searching for, just out of curiosity? Facepalm. And she also finds out that she's an assassin's descendant via Force Ghost. So yeah. Movie, they did leave it open for a sequel, but I don't see how that's gonna happen because it, as of right now, as I film this, standing right now at a 16% on Rotten Tomatoes. Critics are just destroying this film, as they should, because it's just horrible. I wouldn't even call this a good popcorn movie. That's like disrespecting other fun popcorn movies. You know what's a great popcorn movie that you can actually turn your brain off and just enjoy because it's fun? Mortal Kombat. And Mortal Kombat came out 20 years ago. Closing, if you're a rabid fan of the series like I am, do not go see this movie because you're just gonna leave out of there angry. Like Fantastic Four, where I knew going in the movie was gonna be terrible because of everything that we heard, and it definitely did have an excuse for being terrible, but this movie has no excuse for being terrible. With the huge budget that it had, the director that it had, and also the casting and the freaking film studio that it came out of, it all should have been great. But unfortunately, it is a flop. I want to know if you guys seen the movie. What did you think about it? Am I overreacting, or is the movie just terrible? Let me know in the comment section below. So if you guys want me to react or review anything else, please shoot me an email up here. You guys can also follow me on my various social media platforms listed here. So until next time, guys, my name is Julian, Jersey Boy Reviews. What a terrible film.
I will fulfill our destiny. Nothing will stand in our way. I will finish what you started. I'll show them the power of the darkness.